Hey guys, welcome back. It's Meg. Today we're going to be running a 25 Fortified Halls. You can find my stat weights in the top left, my legendary in the top right, and my talent choices and trinkets in the bottom right. Normally for halls on a Fortified week, I would be running Dampen, but I'm going to be completely honest, I just forgot to change it. But Dampen Harm is really nice for the shards. Right away on pull, we're going to go ahead and lessen. We're just going to get Fallen Order rolling so we can get a little bit of healing out and things channeling and hots rolling and such for this first set of thrashes. We also have the Dark Blades and all the other casts going out still, and because we don't run with a prop paladin, we're actually going to be tanking a lot more of those than normal. Setting up for the next thrash, I'm going to go ahead and use Crane. It is a Spiteful week, so what I would have done if I were to do this again was use Crane first and then use Fallen Order afterwards, because right about now everything is dying, so I'm getting pushed out of melee and can't really get full value out of Crane. But mistakes happen, now I know for next time. But that is something to keep in mind on weeks like this where you are going to be getting pushed out of melee, is just knowing when things are going to be dying and knowing when you're going to be able to use Crane to its full effectiveness. It is also a Grievous week, so that makes these shards a little bit more troublesome, so we're going to end up using cooldowns in places we wouldn't normally on Fort weeks or on Tyrannical weeks. There's just going to be a little bit more healing to do in general, and that's just Grievous week. Normally we would pull in these Groundkeepers into that first less pull, but when we were recording this, when we first did this video, we weren't super comfortable as a tank healer combo yet doing that big of a pull on Fortified, as well as Spiteful. We didn't want all five of those Spitefuls to be harassing our melee in the middle of that pull. Cheek unfortunately got grabbed by his Spiteful like as soon as it spawned. It's just Spiteful, it happens. So he went ahead and released, and he brought some friends with him as well. We went ahead and kind of absorbed that accidental pull into our pull that we're gonna get ready to do now. It's 2 dogs, but because he's gonna be kiting anyway, it shouldn't be that big of a deal. On weeks like this especially, I know that we always say Fallen Order on cooldown, but on weeks like this especially, we're going to be doing that just because it is Grievous and there's so much spot healing to do. Cheek accidentally got hit by the dogs there. He got stone-jawed just from lack of threat because we were still gathering things up, but he's just going to go ahead and release again, and he will be on his way back. Something that you'll see a lot of the times if you're running with a good blood decay is if they're kiting out, in this case the Gargans with the Loyal Beasts active, they will use a grip and they will, just like that, grip something out to kind of feed off of if they still have a dot, or to generate runic power or something like that. They'll use it and leech off of it with their death strikes, but not pulling in any dangerous mobs. We have Fallen Order up again for this shard. This is the same as last time. You can see this time I used Crane first because I wanted to avoid those Spitefuls, so I can actually get all the value out of it. So it'll be Fallen Order after Crane, and then Revival if we need it. Likely we'll use it just because it is a Grievous week and we do have that extra bit of damage going out. Once again, we're popping Fallen Order here. There's not a whole lot of damage going out here except for the tank, but it will be up by the time that we need it for the last shard. I'm gonna be honest, I'm sure at the time it made sense, but watching this VOD back and doing the commentary, I don't know why I used Crane here. I think I was maybe a little afraid of the groundskeepers just kind of wombo comboing the tank, so I wanted as many hots rolling as I could. Just to try and supplement his healing a little bit, because Blood Decays, they do most of their own healing. I think I probably, doing this again, would have just sent Fallen Order here, even though that means I just would not have been able to use Crane at this pack at all, and I would have sat on it for longer. I think that probably still would have been the play, because I only did like 300k healing. I don't think Crane was worth it here, so I'd recommend holding on to it for the shard. And then we're going to use Fallen Order on the first one. We're just going to go ahead and send it now, get things rolling. And you notice we do have the Incinerator as our lieutenant here this week, so you are also going to want cooldowns for that boss, because he gets pretty annoying during Grievous weeks, because it's a lot of damage, it's a lot of rot damage. I usually end up sending Crane, Fallen Order, and sometimes Revival on him on Grievous weeks. So I think trying to play the shard a little more greedy and have people use immunities is better, just because immunities aren't going to serve you as well in the rot phase for this fire lieutenant, and instead you'd be better served just using them here and sitting through the thrash. I went ahead and used Diffuse right away on this just while we stabilize, because we do have these groundskeepers as well. Fallen Order's coming up in about right now, and then we went into this with a little less mana than I would have liked. But we do have Fallen Order, we do have Crane coming up here, which I guess that's probably why I ended up using it on that previous pack, because it would be up for this. We'll say it's that. I don't think I thought that far ahead, but we'll say it's that. He's at about 30% health. We'd still have Revival, still have Crane. Probably just end up holding on to both of them. We have Manatee rolling, and we have some pretty big dam for this Incinerator, actually, so we should be just fine. This is just a nice little cooldown recovery pull. There's not a whole lot to be afraid of here except for the dogs, and just watch out when your tank starts to kite them out. Just make sure you're not getting got by the Dark Blade thrust. We're gonna drink to full and gonna be pulling this into the boss. This is gonna be a Fallen Order right away. We also have Revival, Coconut, Chi-Ji, all of those things. This is also our last pull because we're pulling things into it. We also have Spitefuls we're gonna have to deal with, so make sure you're holding on to Ring and Sweep for when those start coming out, because these things usually start to die by the time the beams happen, and you really have very, very little room to move during that combo. I went ahead and used Crane there just to kind of supplement some of the healing, because it is a little bit quicker than the Fallen Order monks are, because you can just build stacks and then one-tap someone for the healing there, just in case they take a beam tick or take a spiteful melee or something like that. don't know why I use Fallen Order here. And I'm sure that I had that same reaction when I actually pushed the button. I probably wasn't looking at the boss's health and just at my mana. Coming off of Tyran Weeks, that probably would have been an okay play, but I totally wasted it here, so I'm just gonna spam some Vivifies, try and get some of the CDR off, and head up to the second boss. Normally on this guy, I would use Fallen Order when the first set of ads come out, but because I fucked up and I used it when I really didn't need to, we're gonna be a little bit dry for the first one, but it's alright because we can kind of just push our little mental list of cooldowns down a little bit. For this set of ads, we'll have Fallen Order this time. I do like to use Fallen Order before the curse goes out, just in case anyone is standing in blood, or they take a tick of something they're maybe not supposed to. If I'm stunned and we only have 1d curse, and I'm not the target, so I'm not getting dispelled, then they can heal while I'm still stunned, because they are not technically me. This is going to be Crane and AMZ. I really like pairing Crane with AMZ just because it's a little bit less of consistent healing like Fallen Order, and it's a little more bursty. I'm late on my roll here. I don't know why. I just had a brain lag, I guess, but I went ahead and popped Fort Brew and just cut the loss on the last like 10 seconds of Crane or so and just healed normally just to top myself. Now, I pop Fallen Order again. I don't know why. Varuth is next, and I really like having it for him. I don't know why I'm using Fallen Order the way I am in here. It's really annoying, I'm not gonna lie, because then I have to do these commentaries and explain like every single one of them was wrong and that I wouldn't do that again. It helped a little bit for the healing, but I should have just healed it normally, held on to it for Varuth. I don't know what was wrong with me the day we did this key. Normally I don't take overflowing, and you can see me kind of trying to pick here. I ended up not going with it here, even though I do usually take it on Grievous weeks. But the second, or the third and the fourth boss, they don't really have that much healing to do. They don't have any rot healing. There's not much left in between us and the end of the key. So I went for champions just for that little bit of stat. But on Grievous weeks on Monk, I almost always take the overflowing chalice, which is abnormal, because normally you'll take Brand every time. In the previous pack, we CC'd this collector outside of the group, and we are not kicking the collect sins because we want those for funnel for the rest of the group, for the mage mostly. I was getting meleeed by the sins for a second there, just because when they come out, they don't have any threat on anything. So that was a little scary, but everything's fine. Normally that's not a problem because I die pretty much instantly because of the mage. Something you can do as a monk, not just Mistweaver, you can actually taunt the ghosts that are fixating you and they'll go faster, because Provoke is a movement speed increase. I really wouldn't do it it's not that big of a deal, but if you've got like 2 of them out for some reason, then you can taunt one and run it in real quick, if it's more of a Tyrant thing, but just something important to note. At the end of this last boss here, we just pop Lust on pull, and we're just gonna go ahead and wait to use Fallen Order until the actual damage is coming out, because there's very few actual damage events in this fight that you have to do. Pretty much everything else is avoidable. Outside of the tank damage, which I don't have to worry about because he's a blood decay, he can take care of himself, this fight is very easy to heal. Even on a Grievous League, it's probably one of the easiest boss fights. Alright, and that brings us to the end of our 25 hauls. If you guys have any comments or questions, feel free to leave them down below or hit me up on Twitch, Twitter, or Discord. I will see you guys in the next video. Everything is linked below, the FAQ, the guide, things like that. And I will see you guys soon. Hope this was helpful.